Once upon a time, Patrick Kielty and Cat Deeley were considered one of the most unbreakable couples in television. Their wit, charisma, and apparently flawless collaboration earned them a lot of admiration. However, while they were seeming happy and glamorous on the red carpet, cracks were beginning to develop that only those in their inner circle were privy to. Their decision to divorce stunned many who had thought theirs was a unique success story in show business after more than a decade of marriage. What transpired between them in reality? Is there any fact that Patrick has disclosed that has caused many people to reevaluate their marriage? Ignoring the obvious won't get you anywhere. And you won't be surprised by these discoveries at all. How Patrick Kielty got to the Late Late Show. Personal tragedy and professional success have molded Patrick Kielty's tale into one of amazing adaptation, tenacity, and determination. The height of the Troubles, a time of brutal and complicated strife that scarred numerous families across the region, occurred during his boyhood, which began on January 31st, 1971, in Dundrum, County Down, Northern Ireland. The hardships of Patrick's youth were more than just a backdrop. They had a profound impact on his perspective, worldview, and professional trajectory. The assassination of his father, Jack Kielty, in 1988 at the hands of the loyalist paramilitary group Ulster Freedom Fighters, made this influence brutally obvious. The incident rocked Patrick's world at the age of 17. While this level of destruction would have kept many people silent, it became an integral part of Patrick's identity and drove him to express his feelings of loss, rage, and confusion through comedy and, later, deep contemplation in his broadcasting. Patrick persevered with grit in the face of such tragedy. He attended Queen's University Belfast to study psychology in the early 1990s. He started out by performing stand-up comedy at university events and local clubs to see how he liked it. Patrick soon realized he had a comedic talent, especially when it came to addressing current events and political topics. Many rookies rely on the safe, detached style of comedy, but his early work was everything but. Instead, he drew on the everyday experiences of his Northern Irish audience to make astute insights and comedic connections. He began a career in 1993 that would continuously combine comedy with serious topics after his bravery and skill gained him recognition on the Northern Ireland comedy scene. Just making his own way wasn't enough for Patrick. His involvement with Belfast's Empire Laughs Back comedy club dates back to the mid-1990s. The club was pivotal in the development of Northern Ireland's stand-up culture, providing a stage for up-and-coming comics and a source of amusement for an audience at a time when it was sometimes difficult to find comedy. It represented his dedication to creating a community centered around humor as much as his performance. Hosting the Northern Irish comedic talk program PK Tonight on UTV in 1996 catapulted him to the next stage in his career. His charisma, humor, and natural talent for handling both light and heavy topics were on full display during the event. He was able to hone the combination of comedy and commentary that would characterize most of his career while hosting, which gave him a broader platform. His rise to fame as a TV host marked the beginning of his rise from local comic to nationally acclaimed newscaster. In 2000, Patrick completed the move when he started Patrick Kielty Almost Live on BBC One. The show presented him to people all around the United Kingdom, not only in Northern Ireland, and brought him into their living rooms. The show proved Patrick's adaptability and solidified his position as a leading TV personality with its formula, which mixed entertaining segments with thought-provoking talks. Once he gained national attention, doors began to open for him, and he became a mainstay on entertainment shows, live comedy specials, and panel discussions on television throughout the 2000s. He never shied away from his roots or the subjects that influenced his perspective, and his reputation developed steadily as he became known for mixing humor with political insight. This was the time when Patrick's adaptability really shone. He returned to hosting duties for the rebooted Love Island on ITV in 2007. His politically charged comedies were noticeably absent from the show. Still, Patrick was able to adjust, demonstrating his versatility as a television actor. This decision helped him gain even more notoriety by demonstrating to viewers that he could hold his own in both comedic and serious, politically sensitive roles. It served as a gentle reminder that Patrick's talent extended beyond just making people laugh. It also included the ability to connect with them in a wide variety of settings and on a wide range of topics. As the new millennium rolled around, Patrick's career as a broadcaster took off, and he became more visible on the radio. His ability to effortlessly switch between comedic and serious comments was on full display when he guest-hosted shows and contributed to current affairs programming on BBC Radio. Whether they were looking to laugh or think deeply about serious topics, his voice became one that audiences could rely on. Concurrently, his private life was changing. Patrick tied the knot with American and British television personality Cat Deeley in 2012. Patrick and Cat's relationship was in the spotlight, but they were quick to put their families first, and they ended up having 2 children as a couple. Patrick made the BBC documentary My Dad, The Peace Deal, and Me in 2016, which would turn out to be a monumental achievement in his career. The show resurfaced his father's murder, the worst episode in his life, and set it against the backdrop of the peace movement in Northern Ireland. Patrick delved into his own grief and the collective journey of a community resolving its differences through the documentary. Critics and viewers alike were moved by his candor and bravery, and the show received high marks for its considerate treatment of a sensitive topic. This initiative showcased Patrick's transition from comic to broadcaster and analyst by showcasing his talent for weaving together personal narratives with broader social and political themes. After delving into such serious topics, Patrick never wavered from his commitment to comedy and entertaining. He returned to the comedy genre that launched his career in 2018 as host of BBC Two's Debatable, a comic panel show that was a good fit for his talents and interests. His appearances on both comedy and news shows persisted, and he skillfully navigated the delicate balance between entertaining and informing viewers. Appointment as presenter of Ireland's most famous and longest-running talk program, The Late Late Program, on RTE in 2023 was arguably the pinnacle of Patrick's career. The show's history and impact made it no easy assignment to succeed Ryan Tuberty. Patrick, on the other hand, received rave reviews for his debut. His viewers lauded his genuine charisma, easy conversational skills, and kindness. He invigorated the show with new life while preserving its serious tone. Both symbolically and professionally, this appointment was a watershed moment. Taking charge of such a prominent Irish cultural institution as a Northern Irish broadcaster demonstrated his remarkable rise to prominence and widespread esteem. Patrick maintained his hat trifecta in 2023 and 2024, juggling hosting duties, comedy gigs, and political commentary. Drawing on his own experiences and the lasting effects of the disturbances, he has maintained a profound interest in the past and present of Northern Ireland. In an impressive career spanning both amusement and serious conversation, he has skillfully navigated the delicate balance between the two without ever straying from the universal themes that unite them. Kielty's backlash, father's sorrow and troubles. Northern Ireland's history is inseparable with Patrick Kielty's story. Tragically, his father Jack Kielty was killed in 1988 by the Ulster Freedom Fighters, a loyalist paramilitary group active during the disturbances. This event marked a dark chapter in his early life. This debate did not originate with Patrick, but it did become an integral aspect of his life and influence his perspective in the years that followed. He gained a perspective that would shape his professional and personal personality as a result of the trauma of losing a parent to political violence. In interviews and documentaries that followed, Kelly spoke frankly and reflectively about his father's murder. But in a place where the war's scars were so fresh, his candor occasionally earned him the ire of people who held different political opinions. Though it prompted debate over how the past ought to be remembered or reopened wounds, his readiness to face this unpleasant history was brave and significant for some. The effects of his father's passing persisted in ways that went much beyond his own life. Comedy was never merely a kind of fun for Patrick, who grew up in the shadow of the difficulties. Survival, perspective, and finding humor in the face of adversity were the primary themes. His unique perspective on Northern Ireland's fractured culture was informed by his personal background. which also placed a great burden on his shoulders whenever he addressed the public. You might see every joke as an effort at mending or an act of provocation, and every phrase as seen through the prism of the dispute, even though he avoided controversy at all costs. This dichotomy accompanied him throughout his career. That past weighed heavily on Patrick Kielty when he ventured into the comedic industry. Instead of shying away from controversial topics, he frequently embraced them, including political and sectarian themes into his performances. This method presented advantages and disadvantages. While it did help him stand out from the crowd of comedians, it also gave him the opportunity to address taboo topics through comedy. Conversely, it made him vulnerable to criticism from viewers who found his content offensive. There was some polarization over Kielty's comedic style in Northern Ireland, a place where political loyalty and cultural identity run deep. What some found to be astute and perceptive criticism, others found to be overly aggressive or disturbing. Still, he stuck to his technique regardless of the backlash, since he thought comedy could bring people together, spark conversation, and bring attention to uncomfortable realities. As time went on, Kielty's voice became known not only on stage but also in television and documentaries. His 2016 presentation of My Dad, The Peace Deal and Me was an extremely intimate move that thrust his private grief back into the spotlight by re-examining the effects of his father's death and how it was connected to the larger peace process in Northern Ireland. He marketed himself as a multi-role figure, offering commentary, storytelling, and entertainment. Honesty was a selling point for the documentary, but it also brought back the pattern that had dogged him for so long. Criticism from some, admiration from others. As far as anyone could tell, Patrick seemed to have accepted that telling his story would put him on contentious territory. Decades down the road, Patrick Kielty was once again the subject of heated public controversy for an esteemed television appointment, rather than his comedic acts or documentaries. It was announced in 2023 that he would be taking over the Late Late Show hosting duties from Ryan Tubridy on RTE. Many in Ireland's media questioned the decision, wondering if a Northern Irish comic belonged on a show that has been revered as a cultural touchstone for the country for so long. Some were skeptical that Kielty could fully embrace the role's traditions and expectations due to his background. His Northern Irish background raised questions among critics about whether his comic approach would fit in with the show's long-standing tone or alienate fans in the Republic of Ireland. This morning's host, Cat D, is on the rise. Catherine Elizabeth Dye was born on October 23, 1976, in West Bromwich, England. Cat D's rise to fame as a prominent figure in American and British television began shortly after. She was born and raised in Birmingham, where her nurturing family life shaped the self-assurance and charisma that would characterize her time spent working in television. Prior to her sixth form studies at Bishop Visey's Grammar School, she attended Grove Vale Junior School and Dartmouth High School. During these formative years, she had the opportunity to develop both her academic foundation and the composure and charisma that would later bring her fame. Cat first gained widespread attention when she showed an interest in the modeling and fashion industries in the early 1990s. She competed in a fashion show in 1994 and made it all the way to the finals. She quickly signed with Storm Modeling Agency, a prominent brand in the field, thanks to the doors that were opened by this accomplishment. She first came into the public eye and became visible in commercial campaigns through her modeling career. In addition to her remarkable good looks, Cat's other qualities were apparent. Her charismatic personality and ease in front of the camera gave the impression that she belonged more in the television industry than the modeling world. The change occurred in 1997, when she joined Edith Bowman as co-hosts of MTV's Hit List UK and made her television debut. Cat got her big hosting break on the show, which aimed at younger viewers. She proved quite capable of thriving in the high-pressure world of television. Very soon after, her charismatic personality and enthusiastic performance made her a smashing success. As a stepping stone, this role gave her experience in live presenting and showcased her talent for engaging with youth culture, music, and entertainment. In 1998, Cat D's career reached new heights when she joined Ant McPartland and Declan Donnelly as co-hosts of SMTV Live, an ITV children's morning show. This concert which was at the height of its genre at the time, would come to characterize her early career. Many young fans of the late 90s looked up to SMTV Live because of the host's charisma and the contagious enthusiasm they exuded. Cat stood out on the show thanks to her charming personality and hilarious sense of humor. Concurrently, she co-hosted CD UK, a music spin-off, which brought in even more viewers and established her as a new celebrity in Britain's television industry. Nobody missed her appearances on SMTV Live. The show's ongoing success was due in large part to Cat's work on it from 1998 to 2002. For her work in the part, she was honored with a BAFTA Children's Award in 2001. Receiving this accolade was a great honor in and of itself, but it also recognized the profound influence she had on the children's entertainment industry. Cat Dee's career grew to encompass presenting important television events as she progressed in her career. In 2003, she started hosting big UK events like the Brit Awards and other charity specials, which gave her the chance to show off her flexibility and put her in front of more people. These chances proved that her popularity was widespread in the entertainment industry, not just among kids. She proved time and again that she could withstand the intense pressure of live broadcasting while charming viewers of all generations. A turning point in Cat's career came in 2005, when she started making inroads into US television. Before being chosen to host So You Think You Can Dance, one of Fox's most popular entertainment series in 2006, she made her debut on shows like Stars in Their Eyes. She became one of the most famous British presenters in America because to this role, which also gained her fame on an international scale, her exceptional hosting on So You Think You Can Dance garnered her numerous primetime Emmy nods, solidifying her position as one of the best television hosts of all time. It was no small feat for Cat Dee to make the transition from British to American television so smoothly, back when it was still uncommon. Creating a profession that connected two worlds, her versatility and international appeal allowed her to become a recognized face in millions of American households, in addition to the UK. This was a unique accomplishment. Her 2011 listing as one of People magazine's 50 most beautiful persons only served to increase her profile. Her presence in show business and knack for keeping a positive public image were both emphasized by this award, which also served to spotlight her inherent beauty. When Cat duetted Patrick Kielty, a comedian and TV host from Northern Ireland in 2012, their private and public lives came together. Two well-known faces in British and Irish television were married. After that, in 2016, they had a boy named Milo, and in 2018, they had a son named James. These achievements heralded a turning point in her life as she juggled the pressures of her prominent profession with those of being a mother. Cat kept busy in the TV industry despite her family responsibilities. She continued presenting So You Think You Can Dance throughout 2019 and 2020 until production was halted because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Although many entertainment programs were affected by the global shutdown, Cat managed to keep her professional profile up by appearing in charity specials and guest spots on British and American television. Her adaptability and grit shone through as she maintained audience connection despite the difficulties. Cat made a triumphant return to UK primetime television in the 2020s, when the entertainment industry started to recover. Another zenith in her career came in 2023, when she became co-host of ITV's This Morning with Ben Shepherd. By returning to a prominent UK program, she was able to showcase her talents and expertise gained on the worldwide stage, while also reconnecting with the British audience that had initially loved her decades ago. She proved once and for all that she can stay relevant in a dynamic industry by making this move. The harboring of critiques and issues by Deeley is under review. Cat Dee has faced many obstacles and been the subject of public scrutiny throughout her distinguished career. There were times when her personal life and career choices were controversial, but she nonetheless rose to become a renowned TV anchor. Her announcement in 2023 as a co-host for ITV's This Morning stands out as one of the most prominent instances. Some viewers began to doubt the show's veracity and future course of action after the high-profile Philip Schofield scandal, which triggered a period of instability for the show. Although Dee did not engage in any misconduct, her entry occurred during a contentious period for the show, which caused some viewers to question whether the new hosts could rebuild trust. Everyone was wondering if she could manage the program's complicated reputation while still adding her own unique flavor to the format. There were those who doubted her ability to successfully bring her background in dance and light entertainment to a show that often featured balanced lifestyle pieces, interviews with celebrities, and rare serious talks of social issues. The media and viewers were curious and cautiously worn out by the conversation surrounding her selection, which showed how prominent roles may get caught up in larger societal debates. Regardless, Cat brought her usual level of professionalism and expertise to her work on This Morning. She has the experience and training to interact with live audiences, conduct interviews with guests, and strike a balance between comedy and serious subjects. From her time as a host in the US and the UK, she possessed the necessary skills for a show like This Morning: the ability to gracefully negotiate live television, remain composed under pressure, and engage viewers with warmth and charisma. Still, she was subject to more scrutiny than usual since she joined the program during the scandal. Media critics and viewers alike were waiting to pounce on any apparent slip-up or departure from audience expectations, so they watched her every move. This was just the latest in a long line of high-profile parts that Cat had played throughout her career, and it had garnered both praise and criticism. She was no stranger to juggling the demands of public attention with those of her career, whether it was hosting an award ceremony in the US or children's television in the UK. Plus, there was a new layer to that persistent problem this morning. The press has long been interested in Deeley's private life, in addition to the public scrutiny of his professional decisions. While she was in the midst of her dating life in the 2000s, she was the target of numerous tabloids. Constant media intrusion generated difficult-to-ignore pressures, even if most coverage was neither shocking nor damaging. The constant merging of celebrity culture with entertainment reporting made it nearly inevitable that a television personality's private life would become public fodder, making the already difficult task of maintaining personal privacy all the more daunting. Even when the media doesn't do anything malicious, Cat has commented in interviews about the difficulty of maintaining a separation between her private life and her work persona. Their romance became a topic of interest for fans and journalists alike, and her eventual marriage to Northern Irish comedian Patrick Kielty in 2012 only served to heighten the media's attention. The public's fascination with their relationship, which included coverage of their engagement, wedding, and subsequent childbirth, demonstrated how a celebrity's private life can have a public dimension for those in the media. The innocent and oftentimes joyous nature of the scrutiny she endured belied the difficulties prominent figures confront in preserving control over their private life. The worldwide impact of her work further added to these challenges. Social media, entertainment reporting, and online fan forums might swiftly spread and magnify any criticism or opinion directed towards Cat Deeley due to her worldwide presence, especially as presenter of So You Think You Can Dance in the US. Her career decisions and personal style were scrutinized not only domestically but also internationally, due to the international limelight she found herself in. A small number of reviewers believed that her energetic, polished manner was too staged at times for American viewers while she was on the show. These criticisms stood in stark contrast to her universally warm response and her beloved reputation among fans, demonstrating how audience perception is inherently subjective. Many viewers appreciated her expertise, friendliness, and steady hand in directing live TV, even though some may have liked a more relaxed or impromptu style. Patrick Kielty's forthright comments regarding the split. After more than a decade of marriage, Patrick Kielty and Cat Deeley's decision to divorce brought an emotionally charged, private part of their life into the spotlight. Despite their prominent jobs in entertainment, the couple's commitment to their family life has long been praised. They share two boys, Milo, who is 7 years old, and James, who is 5 years old. Many of their longtime admirers were taken aback by the news of their split when they were announced not long ago. They made it clear in a joint statement that they parted ways amicably and that no third party was involved in their decision. The importance of their children's welfare was emphasized in their letter, which demonstrated their resolve to remain united as caring parents. Their maturity and regard for family privacy were on display in this reassurance, which portrayed the split as a deliberate and sensible decision, rather than a scandal. A message that resonated strongly with supporters. Patrick Kielty has publicly addressed the problem in a way that is strikingly different from how Cat D has handled the subject of their breakup. After taking a summer break, Cat is back to hosting responsibilities this morning. She chose not to comment on the split. It was widely anticipated that she would address her divorce or her coping mechanisms. Yet she chose to keep her personal life off the public by choosing to remain private. Famous people sometimes tread carefully while they're apart from the public eye, so they don't mix their private lives with their work. And D's choice shows that he's cognizant of that fine line. By keeping working without discussing the breakup, she has shown strength and discretion in the face of the public's incessant interest, while giving herself time to deal with her personal life. On the other hand, when Patrick Kielty returned to his RTE show, The Late Late Show, he decided to talk openly about his divorce. He spoke from the heart and was very forthright, displaying an openness and a lack of protection. He took a bold step toward accepting his new reality by taking off his wedding ring as he launched the new season of his talk program. Patrick addressed the audience directly, framing his personal challenge as a shared human experience, inviting empathy while simultaneously maintaining his professionalism. While Cat remained silent in a professional setting, Patrick seized the opportunity to communicate with his audience, expressing gratitude for the kindness and encouragement he and his family had received. He continued by saying, "So to all of you who have been so kind to me and my family these past few months, can I just say a huge thank you?" This allowed him to thank fans for their unwavering support during a difficult period. In addition to its moving tone, the statement subtly acknowledged the challenges of keeping a family in the spotlight while experiencing major personal upheaval, which made it stand out. To put his absence or apparent shift in manner into perspective, Patrick let viewers into the emotional reality by candidly explaining his experience. With many appreciating his honesty and poise, Kit's direct approach was well received by the public. Given the risk of prying questions or sensationalized coverage, viewers understood the bravery needed to discuss such a private subject on national television. Instead of trying to make light of his divorce, Patrick wanted to show how important support systems, understanding fans, and shared resilience are when going through tough times. He chose to speak freely about it to humanize the experience. This method had two purposes. First, it gave him back control of the story about his divorce. Second, it made him stand out in an industry where insincerity and lack of depth are common complaints. The deliberate timing of Kielty's public admission added weight to his actions. Returning to The Late Late Show after a divorce allowed him to bring personal honesty into a professional setting without detracting from the show's objective. He was able to vent his feelings in a controlled environment while maintaining his professionalism and decorum on the show's platform. This was in contrast to the rumor mill and tabloid coverage that frequently portrays celebrity splits as scandals rather than amicable agreements. Transparency and respect for one's family and professional obligations are not mutually exclusive. As Kielty's model of poise and candor in the face of high-profile exposés shows. At the same time, Cat D's choice to remain anonymous is in line with an alternative view of citizen participation. She maintained control of her own story by continuing to work on This Morning, without commenting on the divorce, demonstrating an alternate way to handle public scrutiny. She evidently knows that keeping personal struggles under wraps isn't always the best approach to be professional or earn the trust of an audience. Dee, on the other hand, separated her personal life from her work life and devoted herself fully to her duty as host, guaranteeing viewers consistency. This approach helped her handle the split in a manner that was both safe and considerate of her family members, since it reduced the chances of anything being taken the wrong way or being sensationalized. If you want more videos, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.